imagined my life could unravel so completely. I'm Melanie, and I destroyed the family I loved most. After 20 years of marriage, 4 children, and a husband who adored me, I made a choice that changed everything. My affair with a younger coworker didn't just betray him, it shattered all of us. What happened next was more than I could ever have imagined, and it's a story of regret, punishment, and lost trust. At least that's what I tell myself every night, curled up in the quiet of my apartment. My children aren't here. My ex-husband despises me, and honestly, I don't blame him. I destroyed everything. My family, our love, the life we built together. I was selfish, and I know it. It started back in 2015, and I've spent every day since punishing myself in silence. I just turned 40 this year, and looking back, I can't believe how foolish I was. I took my husband, my partner of 21 years, for granted. We were high school sweethearts, the kind of couple people thought would last forever. I was Melanie, and he was David. David always told me I was beautiful every single day. He loved me in ways most women only dream about. Tender, attentive, yet equal. He never treated me like a princess. He treated me like an equal, like someone he trusted and cherished. Through the years, we built a life together, raised 4 children, 2 headstrong boys, Lucas and Ethan, and twin girls, Emma and Lily. At the time of the affair, Lucas was 18, Ethan 16, and the girls 13. I had let myself go a little, gained weight over the years, and although David never stopped loving me, I became self-conscious. But I worked on myself. I threw myself into yoga, Pilates, and gym sessions, transforming from 180 pounds to 135 over a year. For me, it was a revelation. I felt confident, strong, alive in a body that finally reflected my own efforts. David even joined me at the gym, though less consistently. He went from 260 to 225 pounds, shaping his body and staying fit. I could see the pride in his eyes, the lingering desire. He couldn't keep his hands off me, but I wasn't in the mood. Not entirely. I thought perhaps it was early menopause, or maybe just a mental block, but it was more than that. I didn't feel present. He suggested couples counseling, and I refused. That was my first selfish act. A few days after my birthday, a new manager started at my office. His name was Nathan, slightly younger, charismatic, and handsome. And for reasons I still can't fully explain, he noticed me. At first, it was harmless, polite conversation, but the flirting started, subtle at first, then more overt. And foolishly, I flirted back. I told him about my life, my struggles, my insecurities. I found myself thinking about him more and more. What began as emotional curiosity quickly became something darker. An affair of the heart, before it became physical. David noticed the change in me. He confronted me one evening, and we argued. Harsh words, misunderstandings, painful glances. When he went in to kiss me, I flinched subconsciously. Not at him, but at the thought of Nathan. That disgust I felt in that moment, it haunted me. I knew I was crossing a line. A week later, I met Nathan at a cafe, planning to end it. I intended to tell him I couldn't do this anymore, that I loved my husband and wanted to repair our marriage. But before I could speak, he kissed me, and my resolve crumbled. Just like that. That was the beginning of a 6-month affair. During that time, I was everything David had once wanted me to be. Eager, engaged, responsive. With Nathan, I felt alive in ways I hadn't with my husband. Yet at home, I began to push David away. I nitpicked his habits, criticized small things, belittled him. I was ashamed, though I didn't fully realize it until my brother Andrew visited. Andrew told me what David had confided to him. How lonely he felt, how he thought our love might be fading, how depressed he'd become. I saw the devastation I had caused and finally ended things with Nathan. I quit my job, promising myself that I would make things right, that I would restore our marriage. But fate had a cruel twist waiting for me. Nathan came to my house that day, carrying a box of my things from the office. We spoke. I told him I had to fix my marriage. He begged, pleaded, and foolishly I agreed to one last encounter. We went to the guest room, and that's when everything exploded. Literally. While we were involved, David came home unexpectedly. He saw Nathan, and what happened next was uncontrollable. Nathan tried to intimidate him. David snapped. The fight was brutal. I screamed, tried to intervene, and in desperation jumped onto David's back, only to be slammed to the floor. Chaos, blood, teeth, muffled sounds, everything hazy. David restrained Nathan until the police arrived. He had called 911 on himself. Nathan was heavily injured, needing reconstructive surgery. David was charged with a third-degree felony and sentenced to 7 years. I was left alone, abandoned by my family, shunned by my children, ostracized by friends, and hated by my parents. Lucas and Ethan refused to look at me. Emma and Lily wouldn't speak. My brother Andrew wouldn't relay messages. My father, usually a rock of support, stared at me with nothing but disappointment. My mother tried to console me, which only escalated my father's anger. Nathan's wife confronted me in the hospital. I had no idea he was married. The trial was excruciating. I recounted my affair in front of everyone. David's testimony broke me. He came home to surprise me with a romantic weekend, only to find us. He restrained himself, called 911, and I heard his sobs. The love of my life, crushed, shattered. I realized fully then the depth of my selfishness. In the months and years that followed, my life became a prison of guilt. I lost my house, my job, my social standing. Letters to David were returned. My children's visits were monitored by Andrew. I sought therapy, faced my depression, and finally admitted to myself the full measure of my selfishness. I had been comfortable, complacent, treating David as a friend with benefits while he loved me as a wife, partner, and mother to our children. A year passed with silence from my children. Lucas moved out. Ethan stayed in his room. Emma and Lily rebelled. Friends and family were divided. I nearly gave up entirely. Thoughts of disappearing haunted me daily. Then came the day Andrew called. David had been attacked in prison. An inmate had tried to assault him. David was stabbed. I cried for days. The realization of consequences, my role in his suffering, my own failures, it was unbearable. Years went by. David was placed in protective custody. My eldest followed him to college. The others tracked his moves. I tried to reconcile, to see him, to visit, to write letters. All rejected. Slowly, the children began talking to me again, but only because they had David back in their lives. My attempts to repair our relationship with them were met with tolerance, not love. Then, earlier this year, they returned home. 4 months of being around them, seeing glimpses of our old family life. I felt hope, a small flicker, but it was crushed when Emma and Lily refused to celebrate their birthday with me. Their father David had been released at the end of April. They were happy because he was back. The realization hit me. I was still an outsider, unwanted. I tried contacting him, sending letters. He returned them coldly, even after seeing me briefly through the door. I begged, pleaded, but he walked away. My children watched, eyes devoid of affection. I realized they were tolerating me, not forgiving me. I want to fix things. I want to tell David how selfish I was, how much I missed him, how sorry I am. I want my children to see the family we once had, to be whole again. But I know I do not deserve it. Even if we reconciled, it would never be the same. This story isn't just mine anymore. It's the story of everyone I hurt. My children, my brother, my parents, David, even Nathan's wife. The damage I caused ripples through years, through lives, through hearts that I broke. My children's response to all of this, especially my sons, Lucas and Ethan, revealed the true cost. They explained to me with honesty and pain everything I did wrong, the humiliation, the trauma, the weight of my selfishness. They made it clear I had destroyed their childhood, their trust, their love for me, and they were right. Every word, every accusation, every tear they shed, justified. David's love, steadfast even through the years, had been unwavering. My betrayal was irreparable, yet his strength and my children's resilience remain. I can only live with my mistakes, try to learn from them, and hope, in some small way, that the future may hold redemption. Not for me, perhaps, but for the family I destroyed. I'm Melanie, and I was a selfish woman.